of HDFC, then Mr. Mistry, not mincing his words, they're sounding reasonably optimistic, actually. Well, Deven Choksey of KRChoksey joins in. Hi, Deven. Good morning. It's a Friday morning. Well, let's talk about a couple of numbers there. HDFC, we just heard out the management. What's your view on the stock?
Hi, Nigel. Good morning. Well, I think the fundamentals of housing finance business remain absolutely convincing and very, very strong. So there is no second thought on this particular subject. If you probably look at, I think, the numbers which came up from even smaller companies compared to HDFC like Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Housing Finance, I think there also, I think one has seen a very sharp growth in the disbursement as well as, I think, the new loan book that they have created. Similarly, the situation for a larger company like HDFC, I think where you are seeing on a consistent basis higher amount of, I think, the loan growth as far as, I think, the retail loan particularly is concerned, I think, which is remaining about 20%. So in my viewpoint, I think as long as we see the compounding story continuing for 20% rate of growth and above that, as far as, I think, housing loan demand is concerned and the disbursement is concerned, I would think that I think this particular segment would probably reward investors in a systematically steady manner over next 3 to 5 years. So from that perspective, I think the looking at company like HDFC, which is eventually becoming even more stronger once it merges with HDFC Bank, I would think that I think the size of the balance sheet would probably expand and expand much systematically and faster going forward.
Okay. Deven, hi, good morning. The other stock I wanted to check with you was Amara Raja Batteries. It had actually fallen off the investors' radar for a bit, but now it's coming back. Very good numbers, strong margins. The company is, putting up a lithium-ion manufacturing subsidiary as well. Is this a stock to buy now?
Yes, Sonia, good morning. You are right. I think in line with, I think, most of the other ancillary companies in the auto sector, I think this company too has had a sharp fall in past. But I would think that given the kind of program that they implemented, including for the lithium ion, which you just mentioned, I would think that the company probably deserves to be once again back into the books and as far as the portfolios are concerned. So from that particular aspect, I think the stock can be relooked at it. I have not completely studied the entire result part at this point of time, but I believe that I think from whatever numbers that I have seen, I believe that the business of the company is bouncing back and bouncing back very strong. Not too surprisingly though, because both I think industrial sector as well as from the automobile sector, I think that the demand for batteries are also I think rising and rising sharply. So from that point of view, I would think that this particular company would be back into the books of some of the portfolios hereafter.
Deven, hi, good morning. Yesterday in the broader markets, it was all about earnings, right? I mean, so many earnings reactions. Even the disappointments were earnings-led. I mean, there was Voltas, there was Relaxo, and of course on the upside, all kinds of names, M&M Finance, PSU Banks. PSU Banks in particular, Deven, is there more to go here? We are speaking with the management of UCO Bank a little later. Bank of India reported earlier, good set of numbers. What's your sense?
Yeah, Prashant, good morning. Well, I guess I think the PSU banks particularly, because they are available at a valuation at comparatively lower, there is a need to look at this particular segment once again afresh, particularly because of few reasons. On one side, whatever the first part of the provisioning was to happen has already happened, and I think most of the PSBs have already provided for those assets. On the contrary, with the improvement in the economic situation and the conditions, I believe that I think most of these banks are going to be recovering very, very systematically the amount that they have earlier provided in the previous years. Having seen recapitalization in some of the cases, I think the capital adequacy portion also is remaining, I think, equally strong for them to expand the loan book side. What one has seen is the corporate loan book which has started expanding, and I think that is what one has seen in most of the private sector banks, including in case of SBI within the public sector, or even Bank of Baroda. So from that perspective too, I believe that I think the loan book expansion would possibly result into better amount of business for most of the PSBs which up till now have been struggling, and particularly from the corporate side, both working capital as well as from term loan side. Seeing the liability side also, I think, pretty systematically managed. I would think that the re-rating on most of the PSBs should be seen going forward in coming future.
All right. Deven, this quarter, that's the one that just went by, quarter two, It's normally weak for cement, and this time it was weaker because input costs were higher, prices didn't go up as much. But some of those companies, they miss estimates big time, namely ACC and Ambuja Cements. But a couple of these last companies that came out, Dalmia Bharat, the numbers were in line. JK Lakshmi Cement, actually those numbers are quite good. What would you like from the cement space, given that the second half of the year could be much better?
So you are right. I think second half of the financial year, I think definitely remains better year for cement offtake demand, including for I think constructions, infrastructure projects. So all in all, I think the demand scenario remains quite convincing, quite upbeat. At the same time, I think whatever the worst that one had to factor in as far as the cost hike is concerned, I think has been factored in already. I would believe that the coming period, this month and the quarter, we will be seeing improvement into the cement prices as well, along with, I think, the offtake. So on one side, the scale would help these companies to result into better amount of profitability. On the other side, some of the price improvement should result into improvement in better amount of profitability. And all in all put together, given the kind of fact that the cost is remaining under control now, possibility of, I think we see the margin pressure up till now, which affected the margins of the companies in cement sector. Probably, I think that would not be the case hereafter in subsequent quarters. So, yes, I think the strong demand scenario and comparatively better management of cost hereafter would result into better profits for cement companies. So, second half definitely remains, I think, better prospect, and would consider the larger players like Ultratech, would consider larger players like Steel Cement, even for that matter in Southern Pocket, Ramco, or for that matter ACC Ambuja combined. I think they are probably deserving to be looked at again, given the size of the volume that they can produce and sell with the profits that would follow thereafter.
All right, let's do one thing. Let's take a quick commercial break. Stay on, Deven, we'll come back to you in a bit. When we come back from the break, we'll of course talk about all the technicals of the market. Mitesh Thakkar and Shrikant Chauhan will be joining in to give you some trades for the day. Stay tuned.